Hello and welcome to episode 28 of our Pathfinder Kingmaker Ultimate Beginner's Guide. In today's episode we will likely complete the main quest and probably go back to the capital. Do note that once you do so, you will be immediately thrusted into Act 5. However, you can still do a little bit of Act 4 quests / companion things. But once you do the main quest in Act 5, you will have a lot of time to complete kingdom management stuff. Before you dealt with the sisters in last episode, you might want to talk to Doug, and before he leaves and so on, make sure you have about 3 days worth of rations, maybe even more. The reason being, we are gonna enter a dungeon where we can only rest with rations. You will find a few in the dungeon itself. However, if you go inside with at least 2 to 3 days, you should be fine, adding on to the ones you find in there. The dungeon can be tough and will definitely test your mettle thus far, but if you've reached level 12 like I have, it should prove a little bit easier, as you have likely increased your stats on most of your people to the next sets of even stats, except a few minor ones here and there. The Valley of the Dead, our next location, is this right here, so we have to travel a fair bit of distance. We can go here, then here, while progressing down there eventually. On the way, we should also encounter a scripted event that we'll have to deal with too. Let's get to it. In my case, I have some regular enemies first, but that's just gonna be more experience. From here, we'll have to go here and along the mountainside. This is the encounter. It should happen on this road here. You cannot avoid this, so just deal with it. You cannot avoid this encounter, so you just have to deal with it. The encounter will take place this way, but there's some minor valuables in terms of ingredients we can get up here, and some more herbs and stuff. A few ingredients later, let's progress. We are stopped by the raven in question, so there's 2 things here we want to remember. One being Vordekai is mentioned once more, his affiliation, and second, the Keeper of the Oculus of Abaddon. This is what Abaddon is. Feel free to pause and read, it's pretty important. And we'll go with a lawful good option. And once the dialogue continues, he lifts off. If Tristan was not in your party during that conversation, he will appear right here and have this conversation. And indeed, we'll simply say we travel together, and that's our next destination anyway, the Valley of the Dead. Before we actually get there though, there will be a few minor locations on the way. We'll hit up the Shivering Glade while we return on our journey out to Silvershire and ultimately our capital from that point. Let's continue to the Valley of the Dead, which is our highest priority. We have a triumph back here, and we even lose economy from it, and a success with this while we lose loyalty. We are finally faster in mountains, which is in due time, since we're gonna travel in a lot of them. Before you enter, I recommend resting on the world map. Note Ekin's ability inside the tomb is gonna be especially useful. Primarily for this, decreasing ration consumption by 2. Here we are at the gates to the Valley of the Dead. The location itself isn't too big. What follows, however, is the important part. There's a perception check to discover numerous people's footprints. Before we continue inside though, let's grab the loot outside. Just a few extra minor things. And funnily enough, this door here can actually be opened 2 ways. You either need all of these Cyclops incense burners, which you should have gotten from the 3 locations prior, or, and are you ready for this? Take your cleric of choice and use Bane. That's right, the master designer of this gate has made you choose between going through several large locations fighting huge undead Cyclops and other traps and unpleasant things, or you need a level 1 cleric that can cast Bane, and that'll open these doors. Since we have the incense burners and they don't have a use, and I want to save the Bane in case I need it, before we light the 3 incense burners, we can study it, and a few checks can be gained for some experience. 45 here, another 45, just 90 experience for free. And now we can light the 3 incense burners. There's one final lootable on this map, which should be right here. Another script covered leather, and before you click this button here, go into your inventory and drop as much as you can until you're at least in light, but ideally even pretty far into light encumbrance. The reason being is 1, there's a lot of loot inside here, and 2, we will return to this area after we complete the location. To do so, just go up here and click weight in descending order, and you can drop anything that is abundantly heavy, such as these lizard skins, for example. You can cut down on some of your food if that's the wants and needs of you. Don't drop the rations, as you cannot rest inside the location. With a little bit of the stuff dropped, we can enter into the preliminary location before the actual tomb, and from this point on there's no return. So of course leave anything that's too heavy behind. You can even leave more food items behind. I reckon that this will be fine. We have about 700 pounds, which should be sufficient for what we're gonna do. There's gonna be a random encounter before we head up to Vordekai's tomb, so let's get to it. Here it is. There's 1, maybe even 2, depending on if you use scythes for Jaethal here. Weapons that are pretty important you pick up in this location. Let's first head to this bottom left corner of the map here first. We'll find a thick-skinned Cyclops, and he's dead too. Once you click this button and investigate it, it'll activate this friend here, so you can loot this first. For the scythe for Jaethal, internal conduit. This is good if you're using touch spells with her. Since I've more spec'd my Jaethal in a supporter role over damage, I'm just gonna keep on that weapon. I'm just gonna keep it in my inventory. Let's interact with this here though. We get the check, learn some history, and the big boy is gonna rise soon. Luckily we roll pretty well in initiative here, and he's not gonna be too much of a threat anyway. First big boy goes down, get the great axe +1, and continue. Let's go and grab our next clue and fight off more Cyclops. Is achieved from over here. That's the second lootable that you want, this right here. Very important. Harbinger, it's an Earthbreaker. Enhancement +4. Giant Bane. Funnily enough, Cyclops are giants, so extra 2d or extra enhancement and extra damage. And it's even more accurate against undeads with a +3 insight. This is a perfect weapon for our current paladin. As soon as you interact with these things, some undead will appear from further down here and here, but you can just have them come to you. We got 1 more enemy on this map and 1 more lootable on the other side of this bridge. Let's get to it. Should be right here, indeed. There's even 2 of them. Let's take a look here. We got 4 from the base flanking, 3 or 2 from the Harbinger, 2 from flanking, and 7 from strength. I'm a little bit confused as to why we're not getting the insight bonus, but oh well. And in here there's a Cyclops coin. Let's go on to Vordekai's tomb. Make sure to look through this as you cannot return to this map. Before we enter, rest. There's gonna be a lot of traps in this tomb and a lot of loot. And it has 2 floors as well. This is floor 1. Let's buff up with our long-lasting buffs like Mage armor and so on. Once you've casted Barkskin for the day, you can swap over to your Trickery coat if you have that with you. With the first round of our basic buffs, excluding freedom of movement, we are pretty much ready to continue now. As soon as we move proper into this map, or rather room, and open a lever to progress, these dead bodies will arise, so don't be too surprised by them. We can get a clue here of what's transpired. There's an ancient Cyclops coin in this here casket. And once you interact with this little thing, similar to the sepulture, and also have a chat with the raid, we can click this door, and zombies will appear. Or rather, reanimate. Here, 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 here. There should be 5 of them, I reckon. It will also close off the exit to the location. Spit out stinking clouds, which is why you want delay poison, and thus you are ready to continue. Dead Cyclops, about 4 of them it appears. But luckily we were prepared with delay poison, so these stinking clouds don't affect us. Right, I misread that wrong. It's +3 AC against the undead, specifically. So we are tanky towards the most enemies in here, which is alright, I suppose. The first room is quite simple if you have delay poison on. They all carry basic plus or masterwork great axes. Take them with you or don't, doesn't really matter too much. Just make sure you have at least looted them, so that way once you go to the second floor, you can grab anything that is there. This corridor here is going to be trapped and filled to the brim. Luckily we have Jaethal and her amazing perception. They all have about 28 DC, and the corresponding trickery check is also in that range. If it wasn't immediately obvious, the traps are located generally near each of these dead bodies that you find in here. Once you've gotten through the trapped corridor, we have access to a new location or new area. This is a slightly open area with patrolling Cyclopses inside. We'll group up and then we'll send... Okay, he just disappeared into the fog of war. Let's pursue him, and before he disappears again, send Dogbro at him, while the rest of you can shoot or do your business. Try to use some of the many potions you've acquired throughout this game while you're in this dungeon, as to avoid spending too many spell slots. There was one part in the game where you got a lot of these. I cannot remember where it was, but I have 100 of them, and I even have smaller ones as well. And I haven't even bought any potions throughout this entire game, so this should be in the same vicinity for you as well, if you've been thorough like I have. After a little patch up, let's move on. Poisonous Hydras, if you haven't already, delay poison, but, well, you should already have this on. Ogbo, get in there. You 5 or you 6, just get in there too. As long as you have delay poison, these idiots are no problem whatsoever. And once we progress past them, there'll be a underwater stairs to the next section, which will transpire somewhere close to here. Remember, since it's technically athletics, you can go back and forth on the other side of the underwater pathway then. We are 500 XP richer and in a new area. If we take a gander in the map, we've pretty much gone through this trapped corridor, and we've learned that this was sunken. It's basically a little passageway that leads that way. It is quite a linear path on the first floor, and I'll just briefly cover it one by one. There's our next pathway that'll unlock the corresponding door. Let's go over here and also get this for another Cyclops coin and plenty of scrolls of healing as well. If we take a look here again, we have about 200 rough potions as well here, and about 70 or so potions of heal or scrolls of healing as well. So we are plenty rich in health restoring items without using spells. Let's unlock our way deeper into the tomb. This will disappear. There she goes. And we'll wobble forward until we encounter something new. We got another meeting with the Raven here. This is actually fairly important, as if you don't choose a name, it will name a random companion, and only further into the tomb you'll have to face off against enemies that can only be hit by the named companions and yourself. To that regard, I recommend, if you're using my party, which is slightly imbalanced, of course myself, Ekin for the Dog Bro as well, and potentially even Jaethal. Maybe Jubilost. We'll name our companion, we'll say Ekin this time. This next room contains a Cyclops priest that, if you don't have freedom of movement, buff up with that now, as they will cast Hold Person. Let's get to it. Unfortunately, the game is smart and has placed the Cyclops, the big boys, in front, and of course the priest at the back. Most likely though, if we send in our front line with all freedom of movement, they're gonna use Hold Person on our front line with freedom of movement, thus doing nothing. We'll go in one by one. There's plenty of traps as well, so do be slightly careful. There's the priest of choice. We'll see if we can navigate past this trap here. Let's see if we can go here and ahead. And of course we roll a run. Remember, if you want to use spells, maybe looking through your usable tab to see if there's any scrolls of the same name, such as Animate Dead or whatever else you want to use. It's completely up to you though. There should be a fair few scrolls that are useful in this bunch that you can use. If they do stack up like this, it is maybe worth using a bomb. It's up to you though. With the priest down, the rest are of less consequence. Same rule apply. If someone took damage, heal them up with potions if you really want to. This place, or this little thing, is also trapped, so if you don't see it, avoid it. It's actually split up in two, like that. Ancient script covered leather in here. Let's open door number 4 and continue. Scroll of Harm in a little panel. Perfect for healing Jathal, for example. Once you arrive at this pillar room here, there's one encounter, one storybook event, one little thing, and a little bit extra. Don't interact with this yet. Actually, we can freely interact with this, that's my bad. In fact, it also progresses the Lost Relic, where we learn more about the Oculus of Abaddon. 2 Cyclops coins to be found in here and 1500 gold. There will be sarcophagi that dead Cyclops will appear from, so turn-based mode. Position yourself in a fine enough way close to the door, turn-based mode, and interact with this doorway here to initiate the story event. Trickery, Perception, Strength. The best option of the bunch is the Perception check, 240 experience, with another 1920 on the other side, and we've entered a little quote-unquote secret room right here. There's going to be a trap in here, located right on that suspicious looking tiles, and a little lootable behind it. Consumables here, and a scroll of raised dead there. Let's head outside and be prepared for combat. Here we are, combat, and ready to go. This one is a little too close in the turn order for my liking with only Jubilos, so I'm probably forced to throw a couple of bombs at him. Luckily, the idiot went after myself instead of the little gnome, so we survived here. There is a singular priest in this bunch, so take care of that accordingly. We're really getting unlucky on the dogs, getting hit with only a 20. This is the 3rd time it's gone down to low health. But oh well, sometimes the dice gods are not in your favor. The enemies carry the same pairs of loot, slight enchanted gear, and that's that. We can always haul the rest down to the 2nd floor, so we don't need to carry it constantly. Dog Bro is ready once more, and let's continue on through the newly opened door. This first floor is quite simple, even though it looks daunting. It's pretty much very linear, as I've already mentioned. We got a priest on our close right, so that's gonna be our priority target. Let's see if we can send Dog Bro over there. It doesn't appear so. In any case, let's bomb rush him. Once you kill them and walk forward once more, you will have another encounter with the Raven, having to name another of your companions. There is a doorway here that leads to a room, which is locked behind 29 perception, which contains loot. This is an altar that if you sprinkle with blood, you lose HP or constitution damage. If you do have Jathal in your party, since she doesn't have constitution as she's undead, we'll have her go up and cut herself in the finger. We suffer no constitution damage because we are undead, and the problem is solved. Let's take a small detour before we chat with the Raven once more. We are after the loot as well. It is a tomb after all, who knows what we can find. This here is another Tower Shield +2, which is a little unfortunate, but I suppose it's gold. Estoc Forsaken Edge, Unholy. This weapon is actually pretty shit. Does nothing since that 2d6 is against good specifically, which is very rare in this game. In any case, we can sell it for about 5,000 gold, so it's a win-win anyway. We made about 6,000 spotting this door here. Let's go up and chat with the dumb Raven once more. Our next choice will be Jathal. With Jathal named, we can grab that loot and we can continue until we have another opening door to this one. We'll take Jathal again, because there's another altar ahead. Right here. Blammo. That opens or disarms that. And we can open this door and that door. Let's mark this number 6 and number 7, since this is going to the main area. This is a side path. Let's go this way first. There is an enemy ahead that we can fight alone with our party, or a little bit of assistance with barbarians further ahead, or with or with some assistance from some barbarians further ahead than this location here. That's the enemy in question, that right there. If you say Vordekai summon me, I'm here to his request. There won't be any combat and we can bypass him until we can enlist some help on the other side of him. You do not belong here. Leave. Yes, yes, yes. Good. We'll ignore those orders. Grab the loot behind. Cloak of Resistance +3. That's an upgrade. Gold here. Let's open the pathway beyond. We'll find some barbarians and we'll want to position ourselves like so. Because the demon up here, once we enlist their help, will come this way. And, well, I suppose it has good hearing. Jaethal and Tristan are immune to death effects, thus they are good candidates. However, you can also buff up with, or rather Death Ward, as the demon can use drain spells. Or you can go into here, for example, and use a few casts of... Actually, you cannot do that. I suppose it's only the normal restorations over here, maybe. There's also a wall panel here with Slay Living and Inflict Moderate Wounds. Let's see if we can get a proper positioning and then chat to the barbarian ahead. We are requested to deal with the demon ahead. We can do so. And after clicking that button, it should shortly make its way here, so do be prepared. Maybe it doesn't make its way there, but it'll be ready once we exit this location. Right around here again. Let's see. There she is. Again, it can drain you, so maybe Death Ward on these two if you want to be extra careful. Jaethal is immune, but since she has the lowest amounts of HP, she's gonna get slightly destroyed. We'll go with Death Ward at least on our dog bro, and then we can enter the fight. Note, it is evil, so you could potentially even consider using your Mark of Justice if you're at least level 11, which you should be at this point, if nothing else, to add your charisma damage or charisma to both attacks and damage rolls for your entire party, and make your paladin even beefier. If I were to do it, I would get 6 AC, and also add +6 to both these numbers and this numbers to my entire party. So Mark of Justice is very powerful. It hits Jaethal with energy drain, but that doesn't affect her. She doesn't care. Note, it's immune to acid, so don't use acid bombs on it. It's also immune to poison. The only thing that it doesn't have is immune to fire, but it does have resistance to it. However, we can still do 61 damage. Unfortunately, this missed by 1, and we could have done so much more damage. It has a permanent displacement effect, so we have to chew through that 50% miss chance. Another reason why either Smite Evil or Mark of Justice can be considered on this prick, just to be more accurate. Deals about 45 damage to our dog bro, and gains some hit points back due to it with Vampiric Touch, which sucks a little bit, a lot actually, but oh well. Down it goes, 1,000 experience richer, and a little too many bombs in my opinion, but oh well. It unfortunately doesn't even have any loot, so that's sad. We can make a chaotic good option and sing they're free, so, well, indeed. Righty-ho, onwards. Back on the main track then, shall we? Ahead we got a corridor and a little thing with plenty of traps on the other side, so be careful once you go down a little skill check. Grab that stuff. Is Dogbro? Okay, Dogbro is a little low on HP. And now Dogbro is back to at least 2/3. Let's open this pathway, which is trapped by these two idiots and these two blood thingies. And let's continue. Here's a mobility check to go down. There's no experience to gain from going back up though. If you are careful, you can even go to your main or Lindsay, for example, and swap over to this, which has dexterity and mobility on it. And as mentioned, so many traps. Be very careful as you go through this door or little area here. There's going to be like 10, if not more than that. First traps down, these 4 here. Next 4 here. Next set of 4, so thus far 12. There's another one there. 13 traps total. And another Scroll of Raised Dead. A thing that opens another door here. However, there's a little tangent this way. As a Knowledge Arcana check and some loot. This contains a wand of Vampiric Touch, pretty decent, for example Jaethal, and also a Cyclops coin. Grab it all. Little side path complete, and let's venture forth. We got a big boy. Very big boy, in fact. Let's position ourselves appropriately. There's gonna be 2 of these, 4 of these small ones, and even priests in this group, so be careful. First big boy is down, unlocks access to a priest. Second big boy, hopefully we can kill him quickly. Second big boy down, and these rests should be pretty easily done. Complete. The big boys each have a full plate +2 and a greatsword +2, so make do with that as you wish if you have any upgrades to make there. Since I don't, I'll just leave it be. This is after all only 12 AC, whereas this also grants me bonuses to this as well, to my stats as well. Before we progress this away, go to the left first, as well there's some loot over here to be gained. And more encounters too. Right around here, as well as a trap. There's some loot here and a actually very important decision behind this door, so do be careful you spot it. And also script covered leather here.
You can thank me now.
A scythe that looks pretty neat. Death reservoir. Whenever we crit, we deal a negative energy damage or thingy that won't do anything since we're doing undeads. That deals 46 damage to everyone around you, including your friendlies. And anything that saves the damage will have or anything that triggers, anything that is within that damage range can save with a DC of 15 to have it. A decent weapon if you are undead and had an undead party and so on. For us though, it's actually a pretty shit weapon. Let's disarm this final trap and enter through this hidden doorway. As soon as you enter, you'll be prompted with a few options from Tristan, one of which is exceptionally important. Why do you say this? Always make the neutral good options here. There's a progression in the quests, and let's get the experience from here too. That wraps this up, and we can continue on to the sucky areas of this tomb. Note these soul eaters, and these are the ones that your dudes that have been named has to 1 versus 1 pretty much. This one wants us, this one wants Ekin, and this one wants Jaethal. And only these 3 can fight them. The dog or anyone else cannot do anything, except buff or whatever. We cannot even target the ones that are not interested in us, so we can easily know that this one is the one that wants us dead. Ekin easily takes care of his prey. Now we only have ourselves and Jaethal taking care of the rest of them. Edrahel can make use of a smite, but overall melee characters such as these 2 should be fine as they do. I'll actually have him come to us so we can get 2 attacks a turn instead. We'll take the damage from this and then hit him. Except miss an 1, 8 and a bloody hit on the least likely one. Great. Edrahel takes care of his, and now we only have Jaethal's left. If you're struggling with her, you could, for example, use your judgments. For example, Justice for attack rolls and Protection for armor class. You can have both of these running if you are level 8 Inquisitor, I want to say. Whenever you can have both of them running anyway. The problem is not these guys, but the ones that follow them, mostly on the 2nd floor. For those, I would recommend buffing up with those that have already been named and doing it very thoroughly. This is the ones that I was talking about, these ancient fellas here. Though luckily we can all target them this time around. Well, the good part about someone going down at least is that we can use one of these precious raised dead scrolls that we've hoarded thus far and raise him up. Back he is. Dogbro is also dead, so we'd likely want to rest before we head down to the 2nd floor anyway. There's a Fallen Warrior's Flint and a Cyclops coin here, and loot to be gained here in terms of remove curse and remove blindness. There is more loot that way, but let's have a rest before we head on to the next floor. There's nothing else before the next floor anyway. We'll have to hunt or use rations. We'll use him as here so we can get less rations spent. Ekin is very useful down here. That way your rations stretch longer. We have 4 rests now instead of 3. As there's no cooking down here either, we can even stack up on watch order. Alright, we are dandy again, no drains, no nothing across the board, and it's a new day. A new day also means we have to rebuff with our long-lasting buffs, so give me a minute. Alrighty, our basic buffs are ready and we can always adjust accordingly. Let's continue. We got some edible moss before heading deeper into the tomb just over yonder. Grab that and continue. Here is the tomb's second floor. Again, here we have the full rundown of all the loot we've missed, or at least left to be. We could theoretically grab it all and then immediately leave it be on the second floor, but we risk getting slightly exhausted to that. Since we've just rested, we should be fine grabbing it all. But to play it safe, we'll grab the enchanted stuff since that's gonna settle for the most anyway. With that, we leave the first layer behind, and there we go. We've dropped all of the enchanted stuff from the Cyclops just here. Since we have dropped it and we know where it is, we can loot it as soon as we exit and just, well, be ready again. These zombies and Cephal, you might remember Cephal from the Varnhold slot DLC, if you've seen that. If not, these zombies, or at least the normal ones, carry rations. So, yeah, that's pretty much the most important loot in that bunch. Since it's just zombies and so on, they're pretty weak. Cephal is slightly important to kill quickly, because he has a lot of AC, and he does have a lot of HP as well. Depending on the first wave of these zombies being killed, or Cephal taking enough damage, he'll spawn more, and I think he has 3 waves of this. So do keep that in mind as you progress. Since he's still flat-footed, I can technically shoot him with a Gundio for at least the first round. And apparently he spawned a zombie right in our face. That we quickly knock down. Once Cephal falls, you can take your time to restore any potential negative levels, depending on if you did get hit with it without having Death Ward. As mentioned, each of the normal zombies will have rations, the rest usually only have masterwork, but Cephal himself also have the quarterstaff, the Whispering Souls from the DLC, with a +4 profane bonus to intelligence, though we do have to be able to use it. I'd usually say that if you have Ekin and also just 3 days of normal rations, aka 18, you should be more than fine to rest almost as much as you need down here to recuperate any spells or otherwise things in general. We lose a bit of our diamond dust to restore Ogbo's levels completely, and good as new. Luckily we still have a fair few diamond dusts. Maybe we should take a visit to Arsino soon to buy a little bit of these. That way we can cast more of those kinds of spells. By the way, for the Whispering Souls staff, you could use it on an Evil Wizard or a more likely case scenario on Canera if you were using her as a treasurer, since that's profane will stack with an intelligence headband, for example. Let's get into the actual tomb. Blammo. Usually on this kind of tomb or map, the act of getting to Vordekai is actually the tough part. Vordekai himself is not that bad. And here we got more of these zombie Cyclops we faced as gazillion times. Pretty basic fight. Grab the consumables in there. The loot inside the actual thing for script-covered leather. And let's pass on to this spot over here, which is lots of traps. Opening the next door here unlocks a little maze and a big boy. Though I think the big boy is alone, so with a good charge and a good initiative roll, hell, we could even take a Kundayo here, for example, and then we should be pretty in a good spot to kill this guy. As long as he doesn't swing, he's not really much of a threat, no, even despite his size. Make sure to reveal his loot so you can grab it once you exit the map. And this little maze thing has lots of traps, or not lots, but a fair few of them anyway. And as we travel through it, we'll one, find more traps, and 2, the next level location thingy. So there is that, I suppose. Next trap should be around about here, this vicinity, maybe, or close to it anyway, maybe. I cannot remember. Just waffle around until you find either a trap or the plate that you need to do, which is here. Once you've interacted with the plate, continue through the little maze until you arrive at more traps, but also just as you make your way through this place. It's a little annoying because this game doesn't have the turn camera feature, but well, the plate in the maze opens a door over yonder, but we'll actually progress through this little gap here first to loot it more thoroughly. And there's another trap there. And there we go. Open that door and onwards. Through this door we'll find new areas and also a little bit of loot. Aside some encounters too. Grab that. Be prepared for opening this door, which on the other side there will be enemies. I think. Maybe this is just a regular secret room. Yeah, it is. Just more stuff. Wand of Slow is alright. And we got a Cloak of the Winter Wolf for bite damage, which adds cold and can trip. And a Cyclops coin. We already have this on Ragongar. Let's continue this away, so we can sell this if you wanted to. Or you could put it on Emiri. Whatever you so see fit. We'll meet Willis Gunderson. He'll disappear into the sunset. We will follow him. First we got enemies here though. A priest. We'll take care of that pretty easily. Dog bro, get him. You, the remaining of, just push them. Beyond the Cyclops, more zombies, nothing too impressive, especially not just regular ones. Before we continue, let's drop in on Tristan and get Death Ward on you two. Jaethal is already immune due to her nature of being a undead. Rations on the normal or big ones, I think. Shouldn't there be another one somewhere? In any case, another Cyclops coin and lots of dead people. This is why we wanted Death Ward, since some of these are gonna come alive again. 2 Cyclops coin on that body. More zombies here. Nothing truly of note yet. And here we have him, Willis Gunderson. He's pretty simple, especially if you have Death Ward on. So, kill him.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
He does hit fairly accurately since he's a rogue and also targets touch, but a few turns and he goes down. Once beaten, he'll ask for mercy and we can make a few alignment choices. And here they are. This is related to an achievement, lawful good otherwise. I suppose we'll go for the achievement related one. He will also heal us. There we go. And we can grab the loot behind. This is the last piece of the Fallen Warriors set. And a quarterstaff with a necromancer tag on it. This is good on someone that summons undead. So either these two, for example, as a little summoner staff. On the way out, then we should have a few more enemies and also specters on this outside. Got another specter here. Once you have fought your way through plenty of rubbish, you can continue to this way and take the southern part of the tomb next. Let's get to it. There's a doorway here, and this is the penultimate door once you're done with the whole thing. So let's go out, or let's continue. We got zombies in here, having a feast of some sort. Once you entered far enough inside, we have a lot of zombie bros. Luckily, numbers doesn't always equal good. If you do get swarmed, either your paladins, channel negative, damage them, or your cleric can do it too. Though unless they roll a crit, on Jaethal for example, they shouldn't even be able to hit you. And you can just watch the slaughter run away and look at this. Just look at that. Let's enjoy the bloodbath, shall we? I have my hands off the keyboard, I'm just watching this. And unless they roll incredibly good, they're not gonna hit me. Keep your squishies, these 4 away, so you can freely just murk them. There appeared to be this one focusing on our backline, so you four shoot him first. There we go. And then you four go back in there and shoot.
Serves you right.
Assist me.
They appear to be rolling incredibly good on Jathol, but otherwise we are fine here. Just a few more left. Any second now. And there she goes. We should probably heal Jathol just a tad. Alrighty, huge bloodbath has been completed. And lots of stuff, a little bit more rations there. And here too. So that was basically worth one rest in terms of rations for Ekin. Rightio, let's go this way and get ready to disarm that in the future. There's some loot up here on the walkways that we can grab. Yoink. And there should be a little panel here, indeed. Yoink. And let's go disarm this, which opens another door deep within the area. Let's disarm it and open it. There we go, that's one of the doors needed to be opened for a secret room of sorts, if you will. And let's continue to the other side of this little banquet. Oh, someone survived. Not anymore. It was just a normal one anyway. Let's grab the loot here. I think there's more loot up here too. Right there indeed. Grab this. Yoink. And then let's travel down the stairs for a small little detour. It's telling how big this location is, since most of this episode has purely been this tomb. There's some mushrooms before we cross back and forth here. Although we'll cross back once we've done the thing. We got another chat with Tristan. We want the neutral good option. You have to ignore Tristan's advice to go back. And if you interact with this statue, you can either fight an enemy, loot some stuff, fight an enemy and get a potential permanent buff depending on how fast you are by doing this. You have to pretty much pause and unpause pretty quick. So before you enter the location and interact with the thing ahead, throwing in a quick save to both get the rubies and the reward, a permanent buff, you have to pause pretty quick. So here's the choice. You can either open this or sprinkle with blood. This is the permanent buff. This is 45,000 in gold worth of loot. But as mentioned, if you unpause and pause quickly, you can potentially open this, loot it, and then sprinkle with blood very quickly afterwards. So let's quick save in case something goes wrong, since I want the both of these outcomes. Once you have the thing open, sprinkle with blood. And I missed it. I think I got them both, or the loot, and also I now have to fight these folks here after I get sprinkled with the juice. Let's first check if I got the rubies. And indeed, did I get the buff? And indeed. So you want both the demonic blessing here, which is a plus or resist acid 5 and some saving throw bonuses against poison and death. Pretty juicy in my opinion. And the two rubies here are worth 45,000 and doesn't have anything else. If you do it quick enough, you can get both that and the blessing. Although now you have to fight a lot of nasty things. So yeah, if you feel unprepared, be careful, because this is pretty difficult. You definitely want Death Ward on as many as you can, and also buff up to Oblivion and Kingdom Come. Luckily we have Death Ward on my dude in the middle, but he did get one hit in and get some temporary hit points. I even recommend smiting all of these idiots manually with normal smites, or even Mark of Justice, as you can potentially rest after this depending on how much damage they do. Whatever you do, focus on the Tsanna demons first, because they have a fear gaze, and that'll be very detrimental to your success here, since if your folks get feared, they can skip their turns and just stand still, while these idiots can hammer away. So as you can see, I'm focusing on them all. And Edrahil will hammer away on the last one after his Smite here. And the first hit here almost killed him. Also summon skeletons to act as distractions while they make your way to over here. So you can kill these two first and then send one of them or two of them to the south side here. One of the Tsanna demons are gone, so less likely to get feared, which is lovely jubbly. Tuplus gets Fingered of Death, which is unfortunate. We'll likely have to rest after this anyway, so it's not too much of a loss. It is right now, since, well, he could have thrown bombs, and they'd deal a lot of damage to these ones, so it is a little unfortunate that he died here. And this skeleton appears to be up on the roof, so I'm sure he's gonna be fine. He glitched his way down. Let's Merc this Tsanna demon then. There he goes. Our next target will be this one right here, so we'll make our way down there and likely smite him as well. Are we in range? No. Should I focus here? You know what? We'll might as well... Actually, I can't reach. That still hasn't changed. We'll heal then a little bit. Luckily, we have a wall between here and here, so unless they go straight past it again, we should hopefully be fine. And I still think the Tsanna demons are of the highest priority for that Fear Gaze. All the Tsanna demons are done, now it's only these idiots here. And it works to plan, because he's using or killing these skeletons, which is fine. Let's Mark of Justice this guy down here, since he's currently the biggest threat comparatively to where our main folks are. And we cannot get too far down there at the moment, so we'll have to waltz down there a little bit at a time. Using Bane can also help, especially on these ones, since, well, Bane is very good for damage. It also helps accuracy. Since we have Mark of Justice this dude, we should go balls to the walls in on him. 100 damage with Ekon, with 2 or 3 misses, not bad. This right here is actually probably the hardest fight in this tomb. 29s from skeletons due to that, whatchamacallit, Mark of Justice here. Look at that. 22 to hit here. And they roll with plus 18s. If they pass that concealment, they hit pretty hard. Let's see if Ekon can kill here. Good. Last one left. Decent damage, but maybe we should Mark of Justice him. He's been marked, and now he's gonna die. We are circling his position. He is gonna get absolutely obliterated here soon enough. There she goes. So overall a very tough fight, and can definitely go very bad. These demons should have each quarterstaff plus 2,
Serves you right.
and the smaller ones don't have anything. But if anything's gone correct, or if everything's gone correct, you should have both of the rubies and the thingy in here, which should be some abilities. This blessing right here. So for resist acid and saving throws against poison and death. Mostly the saving throws. We now have acid, cold, electricity, and acid. I don't believe these two stack. I will take a look at it when we get hit by an acid spell. The most important part from that blessing is the saving throws against poison and death, especially death. We'll use another scroll of Raise Dead, so we don't have to spend a diamond on raising Jubilost. Where is he? There he is. Go and get him. Now we've got the whole squad back in action. Can I mark him as well?
Yes?
Game?
What's new?
Game?
Without a doubt.
Hello. Thank you. And the loot behind here is also this. A Dark Acolyte's robe. +4 enhancement to Int and Charisma. +2 on all concentration checks. And +5 on competence to Knowledge Arcana. The perfect Octavia robe right there. In fact, with that now in my possession, I might swap out Octavia for Jubilost for a long time. With that, we've already, or rather, not already, but we've cleared this spot down here, so we can rest in peace. We got 6 rests down here with the rations and Ekon in Wilderness Survival, so it's more than sufficient considering we only have about half the tomb left, and Vordekai isn't too much of a threat. Alright, I'll see you once we've buffed up again, or... oops. Alright, that should do. Let's head outside and do the rest of floor 2. Let's go back in the maze and complete this section before we go up here and complete this stuff, which is the final pass of this place. Alrighty, this is
Without a doubt.
the other way. There's some footsteps here that Tristan remarks. So we'll first head alongside this corridor, where we should find a trap and some loot. It's a rather long one.
I was successful in my search.
Oh, we got a big boy too. Ogbo, get in there. Everyone else just stab him. Big boy down. Let's see what he was guarding. This right here is a +3 breastplate. We'll grab it so we don't forget it. And let's open this door. Through here then, another spooky, scary skeleton area, but mostly just loot. Which is right here. We'll grab that Cyclops coin and then return. And go this way this time. So, let's go this pathway now. We should have a trap on top of the thing. That's why we're waiting to group up to discover it. It's rather large. This is the second one of the two things required. We needed this one and the one down here, this one, to open the path that is, or the door that is guarding the stuff behind here. First though, we should have an encounter with a boy here. Nothing too interesting. There is a big boy and a priest, so we should probably play this a little slower. It's quite funny, because their footprints, this guy is blocking both of these dudes to pass, so they cannot reach. Let's kill the big boy down, and the last arrow should go at the priest, indeed. There we go. Last dude falls down. Remember to loot them, just so we can grab all their stuff afterwards. And let's claim our reward of this room first, and also the one behind it. Yoink, more potions. Yoink, more scrolls. This is door number 8, which is this one, and the other door was down here. So it's an airlock that opens through here. Iron golems. We could either need adamantine or construct bane. If we take a look, this is construct bane and adamantine, so this is perfect. This is adamantine, so it could work on someone. This is giant bane, could work. I believe they're technically giant. And this is also adamantine. Let's see, we can give the demolisher to myself and swap that over. We become a little bit more tanky because we have a shield now technically. Actually, let's do this. We go here and then we take the sword instead. And then we give the construct bane pickaxe to Mrs. Jathal. There we go. Jubilost's acid bombs are also very potent on these guys. Look at that, 59 from just a rubbish hit or a crit, 69 from a bomb. One of the golems already down. And we have delay poison, so the breath weapons don't do shit. We can chuck a few bombs at these guys. Should be fine soon enough. I said chuck bombs, Jubilost. Do you not see them? Try again. Yeet. And then... oh, pop goes down. Took one hit. Another, and there she goes. Easy peasy. We'll swap over back to this, we'll swap over back to this, and there we go. Nothing even happened except Dogbro going down. But, as I've already taught you, we have billions of potions to fix that. And there we go, good as new. Golem's dead, the loot to be gained from back here then.
We need to try something else.
Luckily we have more than one capable of that. It is unfortunately a dueling sword, but we can sell it for 16,000. And we got a blade guard, which is good against... oh, this is pretty good actually. This is 6 AC atop the 4 here, so it's technically 10 AC. Against melee attack specifically. I suppose this is technically an upgrade for him as well. 1 more AC there. So 1 base AC better, but 3 base AC better for melee attacks, should we swap over to the adamantine killer again. And also a Cyclops coin in there as well. That wraps up this little spot here. Once your map looks like this, the last remaining is the penultimate fight, and, well, the exit down here. Let's get to it. We'll travel over here. Sometimes they get stuck in the maze because they're not the smartest bunch, but they are my bunch. We are getting somewhat close to level 13. I reckon a few locations after Vordekai himself. But this episode is primarily going to consist of this tomb, which fits pretty nicely because we are approaching the 1 hour mark, which is also where I usually cut it off. Then there's going to be a few traps this pathway here. Here we got a conversation with Tristan. We'll want to go with a neutral good option. We are way too close for this, which I hate. Up ahead we're fighting more of those soul eaters and also big boys here, elementals. There should be 2 with a 3rd one spawning here. But, well, I suppose we can be extra careful with resist cold right there. And dog bro, in you go. Since these idiots technically are not undead, we could swap over again to our flame earthbreaker here, which I will do for higher base damage. There's the other one right here. We'll grab U5 and focus here while dog bro distracts this idiot. Let's look at this. They need to roll a 19 to hit, which is pretty decent. Smartly enough, it changed over to Jthal, who has low AC, just in the last moments it was alive. And this spawns this fella. We'll move Jthal a little bit back and engage Edrahel. She will likely suffer an AOO from this. Maybe not. We'll grab you all except Dogbro, who will focus here. He rolled pretty high on that hit. Was that a 19? Why is that lower then? Oh, it's because we weren't fighting. Wait, what? Confusion. Confusion. Well, Jthal went down, unfortunately, but the last one shouldn't. Well, I take that back. I take that back. There's a 4th one? Hello? Surprise McGee over here. Well, the same principle applies, it's just a matter of time before it goes down. It might hit once or twice, but we should be fine. Unless we miss 17 billion times. Thank you, game, for being nice. Okay, let's heal up a bit. That should do. Let's grab the loot and also what is the second to last room in general. This is the pathway to the final chamber. More loot here. This is, as mentioned, the final boss. We'll open it. We'll be ready. We'll go into here. Drop a good hope inside here. If you want to be extra careful, you can buff up to Oblivion, but honestly, it's the easiest fight. If you can get to Vordekai, you've done the tomb, because Vordekai himself isn't that bad. Here we have him, Vordekai. We have a lawful good finally. I came to cleanse the lands, not far from the truth. So, 28 AC, 344 HP. Once he gets to half, he's going to have a little monologue, which is important. At that time, maybe go into Lindsay, throw on an Inspire Competence, and you should be fine. You know what, we might as well throw it on now, so I don't forget about it. He is evil, so we can smite him, and then get in there. With Archon's Aura again, he's even... Actually, it failed. Oh well. Jubilost, can you burn him? Yeet, yeet, yeet. Once it comes to this as well, you might consider taking off the loot from Tristan as well. I forgot about this part. You should have probably done this first. Is there anything that is absolutely abysmal losing here? That is a little unfortunate. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to load to before I did the fight and then quickly take off this and then get back to the area I was at. As mentioned, before you actually do the fight, take Tristan's stuff entirely off. Not that there's too much truly important here, but the phylactery and the healing is alright to keep. Well, I suppose you can keep this. Now let's go again. Let's go and destroy this idiot. Fear aura is fine. Get in there. La da 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 da. Lawful good. La da 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 da. Kill him. 0. Great. Throw on the Inspire Competence as we talked about. Dog bro, get in there. 32. Nice. Oh right, he technically has a Raven too. Whoopsie doodles. I suppose we can target him as well. Here we go, a proper round then. Fair enough. Oh shit, he has a lot of damage reduction, that's why I'm doing no damage. You should maybe look towards getting magic weapon on your dudes, just to bypass this at minimum, and see if you have any maces to do. I am technically bypassing here with myself, since I have a flame or earthbreaker. There he goes, he's now on half HP, and this is the important part. Tristan has a little monologue. Tristan is gonna yoink Vordekai's eye. If you did get the neutral good options throughout this map, you have an option here. Don't Tristan, as you said, evil can't tempt anyone, you're stronger than it, fight it. This is the best option for the secret ending, but also for himself. So we'll go with this. Talking to Tristan, you repeatedly mentioned how important it is for you to fight evil and how important Tristan is to you. Also for 50 experience. He does a little shadazzle and blinds us, to that effect anyway, and all of a sudden he has duct tape in front of his eyes. That's right, he's gone blind. He disappears, and Vordekai has a little temper tantrum, and we have to restart the fight and kill him, which is fine. He actually heals while his monologue happens, because he has that, whatchamacallit, health regeneration. I sentence you to bombs. Yeet, yeet, yeet. Mediocre. Can we... He is smited, yes? Yes, he is. Bonk. 100 damage. Okay. The Raven heals him and kills... That's actually pretty bad. We kill Vordekai. 1000 experience combined and a knowledge arcana check. That's pretty important here for the secret ending too. We want to click this. If you click his third option, what empire are you talking about, we get a lawful good option. That's a no-brainer for us. He mentions an arrogant leader, some souls inside some jars, and if you were evil, you could technically employ him as an advisor, though this is mutually exclusive with if you did the Varnhold slot DLC, as you will not get the items from the DLC if you were to click this option. Therefore, the strictly better option is this here. Shatter the soul and set Megavan free. Your time is at an end, Vordekai. Farewell. We get research into his curse. He has a little last moments pan and epic moments. Megavan is freed. He tumbles over. We can grab the loot on him. Headband of Mental Perfection, which is all the mental scores, int, wisdom and charisma +4. Amulet of Natural Armor +3. This ring here, +2 deflection, and an 3 bonus to saving throws against conjuration. Very specific. We get a cape here, +2 resistance to all saving throws, fire resistance, cold, electricity, and acid 15. So a lot of resistances here. The bird has a little inflict critical wounds, pretty decent for someone like Jathal. Let's grab the loot first before we talk to Megavan. We have a dueling sword, Arcane Enforcer, deals more damage, mediocre, and Fallen Warrior's Flask. More loot here to be grabbed. There is technically a back door, if you will. We can enter or go through this. Let's click this, and past here is a storybook event, but first let's talk to Megavan. He has nothing to say, so let's go outside again. Or at least towards this storybook event. We can choose to keep the jars or to sell them. Or rather, set the souls free, which is the best option, or to sell them for money, pretty much. This is strictly better, so we free the prisoned souls. 270 experience as well. Get an achievement for completing Act 4 if you haven't already. 900 more experience. We're back here with all the villagers, and we have Megavan here as well. We gain a lot of stats if we freed them, which is nice, and some experience. And Varnhold joins our barony as a town, in fact, so we can build something in there, tier 2 buildings, including a teleportation circle, which we'll do almost immediately. With that, we can grab everything we left behind, including the things from the first floor, except whatever we left there, such as minor armors. It is rather heavy, so we'll grab it all and just wait descending and look through what is worthless, such as these masterworks. We're still overloaded by a lot. Let's see, these are just normal chainmail, a little bit more. This is about the best I can do. We are just on the border of it. And we have left only the unenchanted stuff behind, which is the most efficient I could get. I will leave more of the shields behind since there is technically another location we need to do. Act 4's book is done. We want to immediately pop into our kingdom. As you can see, Varnhold has joined us, and we can immediately manage this as well. It has a lot of towns already, which should ultimately lead to us for free, if you have already, being able to build our capital up to a proper city. We also have a new advisor, or rather, an empty slot that Tsanna can fill, I suppose, for now, as leaving a thing empty is never a good idea. We got troubles in Bravoy, still that stuff, and a visitor in the castle too. Let's first and foremost go to Varnhold, build. The most important part is a, whatchamacallit, bulletin board, followed behind by a Mage's Tower, so we can teleport here. In 14 days then, we can teleport from our capital to Silvershire and even this place. Our next location will be the Shivering Glade, but since we are already over an hour, and we did Vordekai's tomb today, I'm gonna call it for now. Next episode then, we are gonna go to Shivering Glade, go to likely Varnhold, maybe. If not, we're gonna go to Silvershire and teleport back to our capital, officially, technically, starting Act 5 immediately, and also fulfilling getting a new party together. Since, well, Lindsay died in the last fight, got sent back to the tavern, or rather, town hall, I think, and Trishan has betrayed us, or so seemingly at least. With all of that being said though, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in episode 29.